2024. How did you get to know about Kenya? Now that's a story. I've told it a little bit. In high school, the first love of my life was a Kenyan girl. And she was older than me too. That was crazy. And, I was around her family, all, and her cousins and all that. Everybody's from Kenya. She would take me to like the little low key parties and stuff with all the Kenyans. I'd have ugali and they'd make me food. And I always had a good experience. And so when Ghana was doing the year of return and weirdly Black Panther came out and it started kind of opening my eyes to like, and COVID, like all these weird things went together. Let me start with COVID. So when COVID happened, I'm up here in New Jersey. It's very cold and depressing. And then you can't go outside. And we had all these stupid laws and rules that you couldn't do anything. And Florida was opening up, which has much better weather and everything. And I was thinking about buying a condo in Florida and going there. And then I started seeing people in Ghana, the year of return, and then Black Panther came out. I was like, yo, it's corny to think about this because it's a stupid cartoon, but like the pride in the culture, although it's a fake culture, but is based off of, like a real concept. I was like, yo, that's really cool. Combined with the concept of like knowing who you are starts becoming important. Because as I get older, you face like thinking about certain things in maybe a deeper way, like why you do things or why things are a certain way. And I think culture can guide you when you're lost a little bit or when you're not sure what to do because you're basically calling upon like ancient wisdom of all the people before you. And that's kind of what culture is like the worldview of the people from the past carried through today. And especially for Black Americans, and a lot of our culture or lack thereof is a bit antisocial. A lot of it celebrates doing bad things, and not all of it, but but it's derived from like pain and loss. Like even the food is from scraps that slaves were given, right? So that's what soul food originated from. And so the whole African or Black American culture is about resilience, but it's also about like being a permanent underclass or from slavery, right? So that's like kind of foundational to the culture. And I think it has somewhat manifested into a lot of antisocial behaviors. And like the music, which I love, but also I think is bad for us because then you listen to Afro beats and most of it's about positivity and vibes. And then we're killing each other and stuff and celebrating it. And I think that's in your head. So I started looking at the continent more to kind of like what are we connected to? And I don't mean it in a corny romantic way. A lot of like, I'm not in this category of the dashiki people and stuff, okay? But there is something to connect to. And because I'm in real estate at the same time, and I was looking for like somewhere to buy property because the prices in the US were going up and Florida started getting expensive, I looked at Accra. And I said, dang, this is more expensive than I thought. And then I started watching YouTube and doing research. And I was like, yo, what about Kenya? Because I had dated a girl from Kenya and I kind of knew a little bit about the culture. I had some of the food, And honestly, you got to give a shout out to Austin Holloman. He had great content about what it was like every day in Kenya from watching his original vlogs about it. And I was like, this looks dope. And so I booked the trip. And I never looked back. And it was a great time. And I give Austin Holloman a lot of credit because the way that he displayed what the lifestyle was like was exactly how I felt when I got there. And I knew what to do because he had posted certain places and things to do, to go to. Same experience, best experience ever. And I looked at the real estate and I like the prices better and what you get for it. So that's all that's a weird, those are like the four things that led me there. Kenyan girls are so sweet. They are sweet, but a little transactional. When you decided to be a player, when you decide to be a player for life is when you meet the love of your life. Everyone says that. I think it's over for me, though. I don't think I could care enough, to be honest. I can't see me being all like, oh, it's over.